Great. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Jennifer Hashley and I'm the director of the New Entry Sustainable Farming Project. And thank you for joining us this evening for our workshop titled What's SNAP Got to Do with It? Expanding Your Customer Base with Food Nutrition Programs and Technology. So we're really excited to have you here. This is our website and I'll just start with a little introduction. If you'd like to rename yourself or add your pronouns to the chat, where your farm name, where you're located. Just let us know who's here in the room so our speakers can get a sense of who's interested in this topic. And that way, when we're doing Q&A, we can make sure to call on you properly as well. And we just ask everyone to please mute themselves until we get to the Q&A session. You're welcome to add your questions to the chat and we'll be monitoring that as we go along. And we are recording the session so that we can share it with those who aren't able to make it tonight. So your video is certainly optional, but during the Q&A, we'd love for you to turn it on so we can see your faces as we're sharing information and answering questions. But definitely feel free to use those in the chat and let us know who you are and what you're all about. Just a quick overview before we get into our speakers about the New Entry Sustainable Farming Project. Our mission is to improve our local and regional food systems by training the next generation of farmers. And we're located in northeastern Massachusetts, in Beverly, Massachusetts at Moraine Farm on the ancestral, traditional, contemporary, and unceded lands of the Pawtucket and Massachusetts people. We have three main program areas: our farmer training program, our food hub, and our national capacity building work. So just a little bit about our farmer training programs. We offer multiple courses and workshops and lots of education and training like this workshop tonight. And we also run an incubator farm where we make land access available to new farmers for up to 3 years. Wanted to just put in a little plug that we're currently doing outreach for our crop production course, which will begin on April 18th. It'll be online for the first 8 weeks. And then we're hoping to have our second session of on-farm training. And we have a 3/4 acre demonstration plot and field scale and cover lots of topics on climate smart agriculture, soil conservation, planting from seed to harvest, the whole 9 yards. If you need to gain extra skills, encourage you to look into that program. And then our next version of the farm business planning course will start in the fall. So definitely be on the lookout for that. That'll start in October or next January as well. So we do 2 of those courses a year if you're interested in developing your startup business plan. We have a virtual farm tour if you want to learn more about our hands-on programs on our YouTube channel. This is also where we'll be posting the webinars from this workshop series. This is just a little bit about our food hub. We also aggregate and distribute products from farmers in our network on the incubator and our graduates through a CSA and food access programs. We'll also be working with UMass Extension doing a food safety, Produce Safety Alliance grower training later this spring as well. So wanted to let you know about that. And then we do some national capacity building work with other land-based programs across the country. We'll be hosting our national conference, our field school in Kansas City, Missouri in October this year. So this workshop in particular is part of a series based on farmer feedback and demand. Folks wanted to learn more about getting access to grants and loans for starting up and expanding their agricultural businesses, especially for our incubator farmers that are transitioning off the incubator. All that startup capital becomes really important. So we've hosted a bunch of different workshops. Again, all these are linked on our website resource page, and you can find those here. So if you go up to our website under the resources tab, under our farmer resource library, there's a little pop out there called accessing grant and loans for your business. And each of those pages have our recording of the website, fact sheets that we've developed, and other resources that the speakers have shared with us throughout this series. So one thing that we are doing as part of this workshop series is trying to understand what people understand before coming to the workshop and then after. This is part of the funding requirements of putting on these workshops. So if I think Kimberly's going to launch the poll here so that folks can answer some questions about your knowledge around accepting SNAP and other benefits to grow your business. And then we'll ask you similar questions at the end. Hopefully you've learned something new. So next, oops, I lost my mouse once that popped up. All right, so tonight's session, as we said, is called What's SNAP Got to Do with It? Accessing Food Nutrition Programs to Mitigate Risk and hopefully to expand your market base and the consumers that are purchasing your products. So we're really pleased to have our guest speakers tonight from the Food Nutrition Service of the USDA. We're going to hear from Mr. Jamal Pittman, who is the Section Chief for the Retail Operations Division of FNS. He's been there for almost 10 years now, following a very long career in the US Army, and he's in charge of authorizing, reauthorizing, and reviewing business and integrity issues for retail stores across the Midwest and the West, and including Guam and the Virgin Islands. We didn't even ask you about those travels earlier. So he's got a master's degree and completed his doctoral work in organizational leadership and resides in Maryland with his wife. And I'm super excited that you love barbecuing and smoking meat as well. And then he will be joined by Ms. Teresa Johnson, who is also the team leader for retail operations at FNS. And she also came to work a while ago there, and then worked for the Illinois Department of Human Resources prior to that, and was also in the Navy, and is joining us from Illinois this evening. After we hear from our folks from FNS, then we're going to move to our state level programs with the Mass Department of Agricultural Resources. And we'll hear from David Weber, who's the Farmers Market Coordinator for MDAR. And he works on a lot of different programs to promote local agriculture, including the Farmers Market Development Programs and support, and works closely with the Department of Transitional Assistance to support the healthy incentives, or you'll hear us use the acronym HIP, program, and is currently collaborating and has done this for a while, the Mass Farm to School and Department of Elementary and Secondary Education on farm to school initiatives, including, I hope, the recent RFA that's going to put a lot more money in the hands of schools to buy local products from farmers. So we're excited to hear from David, and he'll be joined by Rebecca Davidson, also from MDAR, who manages the Farmers Market Nutrition Program and helps get producers connected with a fruit and vegetable benefit program for seniors and WIC participants. And she's also leading up other strategic initiatives at the department and is the environmental justice lead. So we're super excited to have everybody here and share your knowledge. And thanks for everybody for filling out the poll. And wanted to wrap it up by saying thank you to our funder, the Northeast Extension Risk Management Education Program. And that's who funds this work and helps us provide stipends to farmers who participate and help support our wonderful intern team and all of us for putting this series together and on these supplemental resources that go along with this. So thank you to them. And without further ado, I will turn it over to Jamal to get us started. And I will stop sharing my screen. Oh, and I think you're muted, Jamal.
That might help.
There we go.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here and to share our knowledge with everyone. Again, I'm Jamal Pittman. My team lead, my wonderful team lead is Teresa Johnson. We're going to give you a presentation followed by questions and question and answer period to see if we can help you build your business model as far as bringing SNAP into your portfolio if you don't already have it. This process is probably the easiest versus having to go online and do a lot of other different things. Tonight, if you choose to or if you would like to join, this would probably be the easiest way because you have someone right in front of you that can assist you in filling out your information and helping you through the process. Okay. With that being said, Ms. Johnson.
Hi, so I am Teresa Johnson, like Jamal and Ms. Jennifer had said, and today I will be giving you a presentation on how to become SNAP authorized at your farmer's market and or if you are a farmer. So this is going to give you information about how to fill out the app. So the overall presentation is going to be on what we define as farmers market and direct marketing farmer, and then like how to complete the application. Like Jamal said, this tonight is an opportunity for you guys to get your questions answered. And then also there will be time at the end where if you want, you can speak with us directly about completing an application. So how to become SNAP authorized at your farmers and farmers market. Okay, so first we're going to go through definitions. So FNS defines a farmer's market as a multi-stall market at which farmer producers sell agricultural products directly to the general public at a fixed location. A farmer's market can be operated by a sole owner. You can be a nonprofit, a state nonprofit, or you could be a 501c3 organization, and you can apply for SNAP at your farmer's market. Then we have what FNS calls a direct marketing farmer. This is just, it applies to farmers that are individual producers of agricultural products, particularly fresh fruit and vegetables, but as well as meat, fish, dairy, and or grain. So in the two different farmers market is multiple farmers coming together to sell their items at one central location. And then the farmers of direct marketing farmer is just that you are a farmer, okay? Then we have a third category that some people on the line could possibly qualify for, and we call that a reseller. So it's when you are purchasing produce to be resold at a fixed or a mobile location. So right here is the website that we have. To complete an online application, you would visit the USDA retailer application page. In the middle, this page will provide helpful information, not only about how to apply for a SNAP, but once again, the definitions that I went over. There is some EBT information. There is a link that directly direct you to a list of farmers markets in the country. So this website is very handy. For the purpose of our presentation, I'm going to go through and assist you on how to apply. So you're going to click on what is arrowed down as a farmer or a producer. The application will come up, the website will come up, and the application is right there in the middle. And it says, if you have, wait, before we even do that, if you have questions about the guidelines of the application, you can click on that middle, that highlighted area, and it will give you more information about how to fill out the application. Right above that yellow, it says apply online to accept SNAP. That's what you're going to click on, and we're going to go see what an application looks like. So before you can complete the application, you have to do what we call a, you have to have an account with the USDA. And this account is an account that's specifically for you. None of the information, the USDA, we will not be able to access that information. This is for you to log on. You only need, for the purpose of an application, you only need e-auth. You only need level 1 e-authorization. With that e-authorization, you're going to be able to, this is what it looks like. So level 1. A lot of people feel like they have to do level 2, but for the purpose of the application, you only have to register for level 1 to get into the application, okay? Go back. This is what level 1 looks like. You have to register your account. So when you register for level 1, it's going to ask for some personal information as well as a login and a password. Once again, that is just for you to have access to this online portal. So that will give you an opportunity to go in and out to complete these applications. The security questions that you're going to have to complete, these are just for your references only. If you happen to forget your email and or your password with these questions, the account is able to reset it. So you'll be able to reset that password or that email address with this level 1 e-auth. Okay, so now that you have your level 1 authorization, what we call e-auth, you're now able to go into and complete a new application. So let me go back to level 1 just for a second. So once you hit the button that states that you have level 1 and you continue, the system is going to generate an email. With that email, you're going to have to click on it to identify yourself and to state that your email address is actually accurate. Once you click on that, it's going to say that you have been verified, and then you're able to go back in via the online application portal. Okay, so once you go back in, you're going to either start a new application or you can continue a saved application. Like I said before, with that registration, with your registering with your level 1 EOF, you're able to go in and out of that application. So if you start the application today, you don't have all the information that you need to maybe complete a question, or you have questions about one of the questions on there, you can save it. So you can save your progress at any time, and you're able to go back in once again with that registration information that we did two slides ago. So if you are applying as a farmer, you're going to complete the application that is on the left. It looks like what you might look, the application on the left is like a traditional application. It says a store application. It kind of gives you a feel of like you're in a traditional type of grocery store. As a farmer, that is the application that you're going to complete. You're going to complete that application with your farm in mind as your store. So as you're going through the questions, and I'm going to show you what the questions look like, remember that you're filling this application out with your store being your farm. Okay, store and farm is the same for the purpose of completing this application. Now, the application on the right, this is for a farmer's market. Remember, we talked about defining, I defined what a farmer's market is when we first started it. So these are farmers that are come together at a central location to sell their own individual items. So the person who is the market manager is a term that we use, a market manager, or if there's a sponsoring organization that is sponsoring the farmers market, this is the application that you guys are gonna fill out. So the application on the right. Okay, so the first couple questions before you begin, this is just acknowledging that you have the authority to apply for the application. Basic information, your store name, your address, an email address. Please, please, please put in an email address that you or whomever is filling out the application has access to, because that is how FNS communicates now. We hardly ever send out mail, but we're going to communicate immediately through email. So once you submit the application, you're going to immediately get an email that says, congratulations. I'm going to show you that in a few. But so put in an email address and that basic information that you can communicate with. That we can communicate with you and that it's checked. Also with that basic information, if there is if you have junk mail, check your junk mail. Frequently, if you submitted an application and you haven't heard from FNS, check that junk mail or that spam box because the information might be there. Also, you're able to put more than one email address. So say if you have a market manager and then you might have an executive director, go ahead and put that both of those email addresses in there. That way, if one person misses it, we're still communicating with someone else, okay? So now we are on, this is what the application actually looks like. This is the accountability information. This is the person who's responsible. So like I said, this can be the market manager. This can be the executive director. If you are a nonprofit organization, the top part of that, it says is your firm is legally organized, as a nonprofit, you're going to hit yes. So we have nonprofits that are on the state level, as well as nonprofit that are 501c3 through the IRS, through the federal government. So you can have nonprofit status that's through the state, as well as nonprofit that's through your 501c3 or 501c6 or whatever type of 501c organization you have. So for the purpose of this application, you're going to click yes, and then the next drop down is going to say, are you 501c3? So if you have 501c6 or C4, the next question you're going to click on is going to say no. But if you have 501c3, you're going to click yes, okay? Say you don't have nonprofit status. That's fine too. So you're going to click on no, and then you're going to continue to answer the questions. So the next set of questions here deals with integrity, what we have there, like our integrity questions. You as the person who's applying, these questions apply to you. So if you're the market manager that you're applying, these questions are going to be applicable to you, okay? The next part, sales information. So if you are a farmer, so I'm going to go to the farmer side. So if you're a farmer that's filling out this application, if you happen to do wholesale, you're going to click yes, and then you're going to, on the back end, we're going to ask you for additional information. But if you don't do wholesale, you're going to click no. As a farmer's market, you should not be doing wholesale, and I put my wholesale fingers up. You should not be doing wholesale at that farmer's market. Now, the people who participate, those farmers, they might do wholesale at their own location on their own farm. So for the purpose of this application and this question for farmers market, you should be clicking no, because there is no wholesale being done at that farmers market event. Okay. Do you have, or are you applying for a restaurant license for your market? Once again, 9 times out of 10, that question should be no. But if it is yes, you go ahead and you click yes. Okay, so now we're getting into inventory information. Gonna go to the to the direct marketing farmer. So as a farmer, you might only have fruit and vegetable. So you're only gonna complete question 19D. You're gonna click on here and it's gonna select the number of varieties that you have. So in the example, if you grow apples, tomatoes, peaches, carrots, oranges, whatever it is that you're growing, those different variety is going to be a different number. So if you're growing cucumbers, tomatoes, squash, what is that, 3? You're going to click 3. That's what you're growing. That's what you have available. You're going to click 3. So for meat, dairy, and bread, if you don't have those items, you're going to select 0. Okay. Now let's go to our farmer's market. So at a farmer's market, you might have a vendor that is there to sell their meat. You might have a meat vendor there, a pork vendor there, a beef vendor there. If you have that, you're going to select, what that vendor is selling. So you might put 1 or 2, that variety that your vendor have. If you have multiple vegetable or fruit vendors, you're going to put down what they're bringing. 9 times out of 10, if a farmer is coming to your farmer's market, they're not going to just come with, let me go to question 20. So question 20 now talks about the stocking unit. So it's the amount of items that they're coming. So like question 19 is about the variety. So the different types of produce that they're bringing. Question 20 is talking about the quantity. So another word for stocking unit is quantity. So with that, this question is saying your fruit and vegetable vendor, he or she is going to bring at least 3 tomatoes, at least 3 cucumbers, at least 3 squashes. 9 times out of 10, that is what they're going to bring, 10 out of 10, because they want to come there and they want to sell. So of course, they're not just bringing 1 tomato, 1 squash, 1 cucumber. Okay. So when you're answering this question, you're going to click yes for the different varieties. Now in question 19, if you clicked no here, then you can't click yes here, because you're going to get an error, because the system is going to say, okay, you said that you didn't have none of your vendors, or as a farmer, you're not growing or selling any bread. So you can't have 3. Okay. Question 21, just that, perishables. So the items that they're bringing to the farmer's market, are they perishable? As a farmer, the items that you're growing and then selling, are they perishable? Okay, so now we have retail sales. So on the application, it's going to want your retail sales information. If you are a farmer, you file taxes, you could just give us the most recent tax filing year. Tongue twister. So you can give us that information. So we have here estimated as well as actual. So if this is not your first year, you're going to provide us with actual sales information. This is your first year, you're going to provide us with estimated amount. Also with this drop down, the tax year is going to give you the most recent 2-year tax period. I believe that is. So this is 22. So we're going to have the option to do 22 and 23, I believe. For sales, go back before I start here. As a farmer's market, I have a slide that's going to help us get your retail sales information, because as you're listening to me, you might say, okay, I don't know what my vendors are making. I don't have that information available. The next slide is gonna be able to help you get that, okay? So staple foods, so just that. These are just examples of staple foods that you're selling: rice, milk, beef in a farmer's market. We talked about your fruit and vegetables farmers. What are they selling? So these are percentages. So out of 100, what are the percentages? Okay. So for the purpose of the application, each one of these blocks or each one of these selections, you're going to have to put a number in there. If it's 0, so if you have if none of your farmers market venues are selling hot foods, you're going to put a 0 there. Anything that doesn't apply, you have to put a number in there if it's 0 or something. The total at the bottom, that total is going to equal 100. So all of these numbers is going to equal that total. Okay. Retail sales. So remember, as a farmer's market, if you do not track your vendor sale, you're going to click on actual sales, or you're going to click on estimated. So if your farmer's market has been in operations for a couple years now, and you want to now add the SNAP to your farmer's market, you're going to have to click on actual sales. With that, we understand this most likely may be estimated, because once again, you're not tracking your vendor sales. So to estimate your market sale, take the average of what the vendor makes daily or every time you're having your farmer's market event. So for an example, some vendors might make $100 a day and some might make $500. So all vendors will be averaged at $250 a day. So every time your farmers market event is, we're going to average that at $250 a day. So if that's every Saturday, that's what we're going to say your vendors are making. So you would multiply that daily average amount by the number of vendors. Then you're going to multiply that by the number of days your market operates. For an example, we have $250, the daily amount per vendor, and you have 4 vendors. So we have $1,000. Your market, your number of Saturdays in that calendar year is 20. So multiply that by 20. 20,000 is going to be your actual estimated retail sales amount. Okay. We understand that even though you have selected actual, that figure was estimated. For future years, you can start collecting this information from vendors. You can do it on a voluntary basis. You can have it as part of your an exiting farmers market year. You can see if they want to provide you with this information. They don't have to, but you can just at least put that out there. Okay. From there, you would take the gross sales figure and break it down into the percentage categories listed. For example of how to break it down, for an estimated gross of 20,000, remember this is just an example, your market percentage will depend on the number of vendors and what they are selling. So the staple foods will be your dairy, fruit and vegetable vendors, your bread, grain, cereal, meat, poultry, fish. Accessories, some accessory items are your jams, your jellies, your honey, syrups, condiments, spices, relishes. Hot and cold food prepared is just that. Sandwiches, or you might have someone that is selling pizza or whatever it is. Non-food items is just that: crafts, soaps, candles, purses, clothes, any of those vendors you might have there. That's going to go into the non-food items. Okay, so for a new application, what do you have to provide? So at the end of your application, it's going to say, congratulations. You have submitted your online application. Please submit the following. So now you have the option to upload directly from your computer to your application. So if you are applying as a sole proprietor LLC, partnership, privately held corporation, You're going to need to get your signature page. This is something that you're going to be able to print. So you're going to print a signature page. It's signature page, certification page. Those are the same thing. A copy of government issue photo identification, driver's license, passport, military ID. Those are just some examples. And your social security card. So if you're applying as an IRS 501c3 organization, we're going to need the signature page from the market manager as well as the executive director or someone who's over, who has the sponsoring information, who is over that 501c3. If it's the one and the same, if the market manager is also the executive director, they could put that dual role on that signature page. We're going to need a copy of the government issue photo ID. We're going to need to get the IRS 501c3 tax exempt letter. And then we need a letter authorizing the market manager to apply for SNAP EBT permit on behalf of the 501c3 organization. The letter needs to be on the organization's letterhead. Now, if you are applying as if you're applying on behalf of a town or city or government agency. So with that, we're still going to need the signature page or certification page from the market manager, as well as that government official, a copy of the photo IDs, a W-9, because for a town or city, you guys don't have like tax exempt information. So we just need a W-9 signed by the government official, and then a letter as well authorizing the market manager to apply on behalf of the town or city. Okay, so once again, I told you that you have the capability to upload directly to the website, and this is what this will look like. It'll say that your application, this is the review and submit. So you're gonna submit your application. You have the capability to print all the information that you have included in your application. And then here you're able to submit your application. And then when you submit it, the next page is going to have you upload. So you can upload, like I said, directly. You will have to provide your signature page for each owner, market manager, driver's license, social security card for all owners or market managers if they are not 501c3 or ran by the state organization, the city or state farmers market. And then we're going to need driver's license only if farm market and farmers operated under a 501c3 tax exemption. At this point too, it all through the application, if you want to save, you'll have the option to save and you can come back. But the application cannot go to the next process of being reviewed until we receive at least the signature page as well as some type of photo ID. Okay, so minimally for your application to go to the next stage of being reviewed for eligibility, we have to have at least those two things, okay? Oh, wrong way. Okay, so say we have some people on the line and you're like, oh, I already have a farmer's market SNAP permit for our farmer's market. I'm just taking this to get updated information, or maybe you are a market manager stepping into the market manager role of an existing farmer's market. We're going to need to get updated information. So at any time your market manager changes, your executive director might change, or any type of information that changes on your with your farmer's market or with your farm, you want to go ahead and give us a call so we can update the information. At the bottom, there is a number, is 1-877-823-4369. That's going to give you a live person. That's our retail service center. That number will give you a live person you can speak with. One thing that you need to just be aware of, if your name is not on the account, that live person is not going to give you any information. What they will do though is take down your information, and then they will provide it to our work center or to our department. Then someone from our department will give you a call. The 312-353-6609. That's a message line, but it's manned by our department, and it's checked twice a day. So we normally try to call back within 24 hours. With that, you could just leave your phone number that we can contact you at, and just a little bit of the reason why you're calling. And then we can go ahead and return those calls. So anytime there's type of a change in your farmer's market, once again, give us a call, notify us of that change. If your farmer's market is moving from one location to another, you want to go ahead and give us a call, because the farmer's market permit is attached to that location and to that one individual farmer's market. The farmer's market permit is not interchangeable, meaning it can't go from one place to another. So if that farmer's market it's attached and authorized at that one individual farmer's market location. So anytime there's a change, make sure you give us a call. And then depending on what it is that's changing would be some of the required documents that we would request, okay? Okay, so these are our resources. So we have the SNAP page that I had provided earlier. Once again, that's not only is it the application, but there's also wonderful information there about existing and or new farmers or farmers market that want to come into the SNAP program. Then you have our message line that I provided that phone number, and it's there. And then you have questions. So if you have questions about your application, if you want to know if your application was submitted, or if they receive the documents that you submitted, you could call the SNAP Retailer Center at that 877 number. You can also use that number to call and update any information that you might have about an existing farmer's market or an existing farmer. That concludes my presentation. So this time now we're going to use this opportunity to ask questions. If you have specific questions pertaining to a particular farmer's market or a farm, we will give you a chance to maybe have that one-on-one time if you don't want to share that with the group. But if you have general questions, this is the time. We will open it up. Okay, I can't see the chat.
It looks like, does anyone have any additional questions right now? And maybe if they hear the other presentations, then we can kind of culminate, have a
Okay.
culmination of questions towards the ends. But thank
Okay.
you so much for that informative presentation about the SNAP process. I know it can be cumbersome, so for
It can
marketers
be.
and for farmers, so.
It can be. But please, if you don't leave anything, just know that there are numbers, that we are available to walk you through an application, or if you have questions about an application, please give us a call. And if there is change within an existing farmer's market, please give us a call.
Okay,
cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, next up here, we're heading into MDAR land. So David, do you want to take over?
Sure. And let me just share my screen here. And whoops. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So I am going to talk about, just to follow up from USDA, I'm going to talk about some options for processing equipment to process SNAP payments. Once you're a SNAP authorized retailer, you'll need a way to process those payments since the benefits are on a EBT card or electronic. I'm also going to talk about the states. Massachusetts has what's called the Healthy Incentives Program, or HIP program, and also a bit about a pilot program for CSAs to process SNAP as well. So I'll talk about those options and then happy to answer any questions. I'm going to start off with some options for processing for equipment options to process SNAP. So once you're a SNAP retailer, you need a way to process those payments. And if you're a farmer and you're going to farmers markets, or you're a farmers market manager, usually you need mobile processing equipment because you're not at a, a location with, a POS system, like a farm stand or a retail store. So currently, and I'll preface this by saying there's many companies out there that offer equipment for processing SNAP. I'm just going to focus on 2 that are available to you, subsidized through the state. And the first are landline devices, which called conduit direct connect terminals. And these are available through the state's EBT provider, which is the company Conduit. And these process SNAP and as well as HIP, and they operate with a landline connection, so through a analog phone line and electricity. And we do have some farms that do use these if they have a farm stand with the proper phone line. And then I do want to back up for 1 second because I wanted to mention that, so I'm with the Mass Department of Agricultural Resources, and but our SNAP agency in the state is the Department of Transitional Assistance, or DTA. And so I work closely with them, but I just wanted to let you know that some of this information that I'm providing is information from the Department of Transitional Assistance, since they're the SNAP agency in the state and the lead agency for HIP. But I do work closely with them. So just getting back to equipment, there is also a program that provides some of the equipment you need to process mobily. So if you're going to a farmer's market or you're making deliveries, and that's a program that's funded through USDA to a national nonprofit organization. The program is called MarketLink. So eligible retailers, including direct marketing farms and farmers markets, can apply to that program and receive 1 year of a license to a subscription to use what's called the Total Pay app and a card reader at no cost. And that works through a smart device, a smartphone like an iPad or an iPhone, and requires either Wi-Fi or a data plan. So we have more information on both of those options on our website with the link here. And I also want to mention that MarketLink is also funded by USDA to provide technical assistance to growers around SNAP. And I know the folks from USDA can also provide assistance and help you get set up for SNAP. But if you're not ready today or in the future, you can go to MarketLink's website and request to meet with a representative from MarketLink, and they can help you with that application as well and submit that to USDA and answer your questions. I can put after the website in the chat as well. So just moving on to the state's Healthy Incentives Program, or HIP. You may have heard about this program. It was based on a pilot program done a number of years ago out in the western part of the state. It began statewide in 2017 by the Department of Transitional Assistance with funding from USDA. And it's a cooperative program that works with MDAR as well as DPH as well. So it's a state-funded program that's subject to appropriation by the state each year. And it's monitored to provide accurate budget predictions. So all HIP-enabled devices must be approved by the Department of Transitional Assistance. So I'm gonna just jump ahead here. So what is HIP though, right? So hit the basics on HIP. So HIP is a statewide SNAP matching program. So when folks go to shop using their SNAP benefits, if they shop with a HIP retailer and they buy fruits and vegetables, they can get a instant rebate onto their EBT card up to a cap every month. So for example, a household of 1 or 2 can get $40, a $40 rebate every month if they go to a SNAP retailer and buy fruits and vegetables. And then it's $60 or $80 as well, depending on the household size. So all SNAP households in Massachusetts are automatically enrolled in this program. There's no sign up if you're a SNAP participant. And once the HIP incentive is applied back to the EBT card, the SNAP client can spend their rebate just like regular SNAP benefits. So either to spend at the farmer's market or with the farm or any other retailer that accepts SNAP in the state. HIP vendors include direct marketing farmers markets, and also some other categories of HIP SNAP retailers by USDA, such as delivery routes, fruit and vegetable specialty vendors, nonprofit buying cooperatives, and folks may sell at farm stands, farmers markets, mobile markets, or via the SNAP CSA pilot program. So we have close to 300, I think, vendors at this point, the majority of which are farm vendors or farmers markets. Be happy to talk with anyone more about this. I just do want to mention that the program right now is not open for new vendors. However, I'd be happy to take anyone's contact information, such as email, and we'll notify you when there's another opportunity. DTA opens up the program periodically, depending on the budget for the program, and we'll certainly notify you of the next opportunity. However, all HIP vendors are SNAP retailers, and so the first step is to get SNAP authorized, since you have to be processing SNAP because HIP is a rebate to the SNAP customer's account. So, and you can certainly, once you're a SNAP retailer, be processing SNAP in the meantime until there's an opportunity to join HIP. So I would encourage folks to, if you're interested in SNAP or HIP, to go ahead and get started with the process of becoming a SNAP retailer. And if you are HIP, you're not limited to selling only fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are the foods that folks earn the rebate on when they buy those, but you can process any SNAP eligible foods as well. And again, you just have to maintain your SNAP authorization with USDA in a HIP eligible category for that. So I know it can be a little confusing, but happy to answer questions when we get to the Q&A or talk more one-on-one at another time with anyone on the call. And the other thing I did want to mention, just the goals of HIP. So, it has a multi-purpose program. So it not only supports local farmers' sales, boosts the local economy, supports farmers market, it supports good, good nutrition, and helps get more food to healthy food to folks who receive SNAP benefits. And the other thing I wanted to mention is the SNAP CSA pilot. So if you do have a CSA program, there's a pilot program, and this can operate with or without HIP. Again, so you don't need to be doing HIP to participate in the pilot. But so the very basics of how it works is, so the state has a waiver from USDA that allows us to do this, because normally, folks receiving SNAP benefits are unable to prepay for food. So this allows sort of a I'd say it's not exactly like a CSA, but it allows folks to pay on a monthly basis for their for a CSA share. And the nice thing about it is once somebody is enrolled, the farm doesn't need any equipment to process the payment. It all happens behind the scene. So the customer comes to you, they want to sign up for your CSA. You get enrolled through the Department of Transitional Assistance. They set the client up for these monthly for the monthly cost of the CSA share. So just for example, just say it's $50 a month. On the date the customer gets their SNAP benefits, that those dollars are automatically debited from their account and credited to the farm, the CSA, and that customer's HIP benefits are also credited back to them immediately at that time. So then the customer can come to the pickup location or the delivery site and get their food the same as any other CSA participant. And again, there's no equipment needed to process those payments. So again, I'm happy to talk a bit more with anyone about this. Again, like HIP, the CSA pilot is for new vendors is on hold right now because the Department of Transitional Assistance is making some significant upgrades to the way the program works behind the scene, which is going to be really great. It will make it, it'll simplify the process for both the farms and the customers in the program. But again, we'll notify you when there's an opportunity to join both HIP and the CSA pilot, if that's something you are interested in doing. So these are the HIP team members. There's a small team, but 3 folks over at the Department of Transitional Assistance and myself at MDAR. And on the next slide here is the contact information. You can reach out to me at my email, david.weber@mass.gov, or reach out directly to the Department of Transitional Assistance at dta.hip@mass.gov, and the HIP website, mass.gov/HIP, and that has information for the customers, as well as there's information for farmers there as well. So with that, I will, I guess, either take questions or turn it over to Rebecca for her piece, and then maybe do questions at the end. But thank you.
Thanks, David. Kimberly, should I jump in, or
Yeah, I think
you
why
want
don't we keep on going, and then we'll take the questions all at the end.
Okay, great.
And if people don't want to lose their question, they can just type it into the chat, and we will address it after Rebecca goes.
Great. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. My name's Rebecca Davidson, and I am also with MDAR, Mass Department of Agricultural Resources. And I'm here today to talk a little bit about the Farmers Market Nutrition Program and provide information on how you can become certified as a farmer or perhaps as a market manager, depending on your situation. So my contact information is on the screen. Feel free to reach out to me at any time with questions. If you have a question that comes up after the presentation, for example, I'm always happy to connect either by email or by phone. So I'm just going to provide a little bit of information about the program in general to start, and then some contact information, how to become certified, to accept the coupons, what the coupons can be redeemed for, what the market requirements are, how to redeem and be reimbursed for coupons, and then happy to take any questions at the end. So this program is funded by USDA through annual appropriations for the WIC program and the Farm Bill for the senior program. So there are two pieces of this, the WIC and senior farmers market nutrition programs, but both aim to provide low-income participants with access to fresh, nutritious fruits and vegetables, and to develop and aid in the expansion of farmers markets, basically supporting the agricultural economy. So a little bit of information about the program. Every year, USDA allocates about $22 million for the WIC program and about $24 million for the senior program across the country to the various state agencies, territories, and federally recognized Indian tribal organizations that participate in this program. And our women, infants, and children in the WIC program who are over 4 months old are eligible to receive a $30 booklet of coupons that can be used to buy fresh fruits and vegetables at participating markets and farm stands across the state. These WIC coupons are separate from the regular WIC benefits that families receive, and the WIC coupons cannot be used at the grocery store. They can only be used at participating farmers market booths or at farm stands. Low-income seniors and disabled individuals living in senior housing where meals are being served are eligible to apply for a $50 booklet to purchase fresh fruits, vegetables, cut herbs, and honey at participating markets and farm stands. This year, we expect to serve over 30,000 women, infants, and children, and 28,000 seniors with coupons. So the program benefits, Massachusetts agriculture because these coupons can only be used with participating farmers at participating markets. So it's really a way to support the agricultural economy with the over $1 million worth of coupons that are spent at markets across the state. Participants in the program are able to meet and learn from local farmers. They're able to increase their access to fresh fruits and vegetables. A farmer's market is a great place to connect with your community. You might learn about other programs that your city or town runs. You might meet friendly faces from the community. And you can also access other program benefits. For example, you might learn about the Healthy Incentives Program while at the market. So what is new in 2023? This year, we are changing the denomination of each coupon. So how much each coupon is worth will change from $2.50 to $5 each. And this increase is part of an ARPA grant that we received from USDA, a special kind of grant that it was worth over $1 million, and it allowed us to increase the benefit from $25 per senior to $50 per senior. So we're very excited to be able to run this grant program for the next 2 years. So this will be for 2023 and 2024. And all that extra money will go to our farmers who participate in the program. This year, we are also hoping to coordinate more with UMass Nutrition Extension Program. If you are a regular farmer at a market, you may notice UMass Nutrition Extension at different farmers markets, and they provide great access to new recipes, food demonstrations. So we really want to sync up with the work that they're doing and make sure that we are in the community as well. So we're also going to be supporting distribution of coupons at farmers markets this year. What we've noticed is that our WIC families and our senior participants really appreciate when the distribution of coupons happens at the market because it's very easy for them to collect their coupon booklet and go right ahead and shop and get their fruits and vegetables right then and there. So we're excited to be collaborating on that again this year. So a little bit of information about our program contacts. So you can always reach out to me with any questions. If you ever have questions specifically related to the reimbursement of coupons, you can contact Mass Farmers Markets directly. So Mass Farmers Markets is the entity that we contract with to process all of the coupons. So once you've accepted them, and I'm going to go into that in a little bit, then you mail them in to Mass Farmers Markets, who will count them and then issue a check or direct deposit to your account. So if ever you have questions specifically related to that, please feel free to reach out to Joe at Mass Farmers Markets. And then if any of your vendors, or if you need any translation needs, please feel free to reach out to me and we will accommodate those requests as well. Okay, so for our new farmers and market managers participating in the program, you will need to complete a training and submit the appropriate agreement form. What I'm covering today covers the vast majority of what we cover in the training. So if you're attending today, I'll make a note of that. And then we can just follow up with a quick phone call to make sure that we cover all those other necessary elements of the training. You would also need to submit an agreement form, and I'm going to go through that next and show you how to do that on our website. And then once you're certified for the first time, you'll receive a stamp and an ink pad that you'll use to cancel your coupons, a sign stating that you accept the coupons, and then your unique certification number for your farm or your unique PIN for your market. And then you'll get in the mail all the materials that you need to reimburse your coupons and mail them in from Mass Farmers Markets. So I just want to emphasize one key point here is that the coupons are accepted by the vendors. So the market managers also have to be trained and authorized, but they're not taking the physical coupons themselves. It's the individual vendors for this program who are enrolled to take the coupons and mail them in at the end of the season. So market managers are trained so that the location itself is a certified location, and so that the farmer's market manager is aware of all of the program requirements, but the coupons again are accepted by the individual vendors. And then after you've completed your first year participating in the program, you won't need to complete the training again, but you will need to read through those guidelines every year, just so that you're familiar with any changes that have occurred. And you will need to submit a new agreement. These agreements happen on a 3-year cycle. So this year happens to be the recertification year for all farmers and farm stands in the program. So whether you submitted an agreement form last year or 2 years ago, everyone is going to be recertifying this year. And we will be sending out all of that information, hopefully this week or possibly the week after. But we ask that you submit that recertification form if you're a returning vendor by May 15th. Now, our farmers markets also have a separate agreement form, and those who renewed with us last year won't need to renew again until 2025. But if for some reason you forgot to submit your agreement form last year, you will need to send us one this year. Okay, so farm stands can become certified to accept the coupons, and there are a few criteria associated with that. For example, we don't allow for self-service farm stands. So for example, a lot of our farms in the state have an honor system for a farm stand, and that's not allowable with this program because we need to have somebody there taking the coupons to make sure that they are used accordingly, and to make sure that all of our civil rights rules and regulations are being followed as well throughout all of that, and accessibility. So we do need to have a trained seller present at the farm stand in order to take those coupons, and the farm stand should be reasonably accessible to the public and should be open with regularly scheduled hours and days of the week. If you are interested in certifying your farm stand, then you just submit the same farmer agreement and you will click that you're interested in certifying a farm stand, and some additional questions will pop up and you complete those for us. We've merged those two forms this year to make it easy for folks. So only locally grown produce sold by authorized farmers or supply farmers is eligible for this program. So what that means is that some of our farmers might buy produce from another farmer. Let's say they really want to sell blueberries because consumers are wanting to buy those, and they don't grow them themselves. They can purchase blueberries from another farmer and they can take coupons for those blueberries, but only if they are grown within Massachusetts or a bordering state. And I know I've got my colleagues from USDA and also David from MDAR. SNAP is sometimes different, so we just want to make sure that we're following all of the regulations for each specific program. But for our coupon program, you can buy product from neighboring state, from a farm from a neighboring state, and accept coupons for that produce. So we ask that farmers post prices for all their items on sale for transparency for their customers, and post a sign stating that farmers market coupons are accepted. You will get this sign in the mail if it's your first time participating. And if for some reason you've lost your sign or you need a new one for any reason, just let us know and we'll get that mailed to you. So this year, both types of coupons are each valued at $5 a piece, and they all expire October 31st. And this year, our senior coupons will be brown and our WIC coupons will be orange. So what can the coupons be redeemed for? They can be redeemed for fresh, locally grown, unprocessed fruits, vegetables, cut herbs. And senior coupons are redeemable for all of those things, as well as locally produced honey. So no baked goods, no dairy products, no maple products, no eggs, just those fruits, vegetables, cut herbs, and honey for our seniors. So you can't exchange coupons for cash, that goes without saying, but you also can't give change back. And note that the denomination is increasing, so we're really hoping that isn't tricky at the market, but we're thinking with inflation and prices going up, we're hoping this isn't going to be a burden, but you can't give change back for those coupon purchases. So when you're ready to mail your coupons in, just as an FYI, you would bundle them with bundle wrappers provided by Mass Farmers Markets. You would keep them separate for their different types, the senior coupons together, the WIC coupons together, based on where you accepted them. So what market you went to, and you bundle them by type and by location, and then you would mail them in to Mass Farmers Markets. Mass Farmers Markets provides a very detailed set of instructions on how to do this. So I just recommend having that on hand when you're ready to mail those in. And if it comes time for you to mail those in and you can't find the instructions, no big deal. We will get those out to you. So just let us know. And then you would fill out this request for payment. We will have a 2023 one updated. But you would fill out this request for payment and keep the bottom copy on hand as your receipt. When you write on this, it's a carbon copy and there's multiple copies. So you just would take off the bottom one, make sure to sign it, and fill out all the information. And that goes in with your coupons into the mail to Mass Farmers Markets. So you can mail these coupons regularly throughout the season. We ask that you don't use like a standard size envelope because it's prone to breaking. And then payments are issued every 2 weeks. And the deadline to mail all of these in is November 15th. So all the coupons have to be mailed in by November 15th. And then I also just wanted to mention briefly another service that we offer here at MDAR is the Mass Grown Farm Exchange. So you can, basically the way that it works is that you register your farm on this site and you can list certain products that you have available, and you post online. Basically, it gets posted on this online system, and any buyer or restaurant or farmer's market that had identified that they were interested in a product that you listed will get an email saying that a new product is available. So it's a great service that we've developed in-house, completely free. And it's something that I recommend checking out as a way to connect with schools, to connect with restaurants that are on there. And let's see if I have a picture of what it looks like here. So your business would be listed here, and then when folks click on the details, they could see the different products that you have. So people can either search for businesses or search for products. But it's a business-to-business exchange system. It's not for consumers, but it's really a way for you to connect on the wholesale side of things. So that was my last slide. I did just want to share the website to just show people what the form looked like. So I'm going to just try to switch screens here, if you can bear with me. Let's see. Okay. So can you see this website over here? Or is it too small to see? So when you click on when you go to our general web page for the Farmers Market Nutrition Program, and if you, this is information on how to request translation. But if you click on this, I want to accept Farmers Market Nutrition Program coupons, that's where you would find this farmer agreement. And I can put this in the chat as well. But you would, go through this form. You want to enter here the entity that the checks should be made out to. So it may be your farm name, it may be the farm owner's name, and then all of the information that's being asked here as well. And then the payment information, which is important there. How many markets you plan to attend and which markets. And you may not know right now all the markets, and that's okay. This information is so that we know how many requests for payments to send to you and how many bundle wrappers. So if you need to update that number later, you just let us know. And then if you plan to accept coupons, then you'll see some additional questions coming up here. And really, we want to know the hours of operation and the location. And so this is really important for it to be accurate, because we'll use it to put on our map, and we'll have a list of all the locations to give to our seniors for them to find out where they can use their coupons, and WIC participants as well. And then you can either sign with your cursor or whatever setup you have if you're on your phone with your finger, or you can select to type your signature if that's something that you prefer. And then you click submit, and that form will come to me, and then I will process your application. And if I notice that you are a new farmer, then I will reach out to you to complete the training at your convenience. There's a few training dates coming up, but if none of those work for you, we can find a time that will work. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and happy to answer any questions.
Thanks so much, Rebecca. I have questions if no one else does. So, and hopefully these will be broad, but does anyone from the audience have any questions? And this is just a point of clarification, Rebecca. I haven't been in the state of Massachusetts for about 12 plus years, but so in order to accept accept like the coupons itself, you do not need to be a SNAP provider, like have SNAP certification, correct?
Correct. They're completely different programs.
Okay. Great. I just wanted that as a clear. I'm sure you said that, but I just wanted to make sure.
Kimberly, this is Teresa. I kind of have a follow-up question too to yours. It's for HIP. So for David, for the SNAP CSA pilot, do you have to be SNAP? Do you have to have the SNAP authorization for that program, or is it completely different as well?
No, that you would have to be SNAP authorized.
Okay.
Yes. And then just a way for customers and the farms to process the transactions
Okay, thank you.
behind the scenes.
So I have a broad question for you all first, maybe before we get into the weeds. But I wondered if any of you could just talk about some of the benefits for farmers to actually accept SNAP EBT, HIP, or even the farmers market coupons, or even for consumers. So for the farmers themselves, but also what may be the benefits for them, and then what may be the benefits for the consumer. Because I think it's the symbiotic relationship that exists, if a farmer is able to obtain the certification or these HIP or coupons.
Sure, I can start. I think in terms of SNAP, one, it can bring, of course, more customers to your farm or farmer's market, and also brings more accessibility to everyone in the community, not just people who have other means to pay for the food, but it creates more access. And I think it connects to other folks in the community and community partners. We have a lot of farms and markets that participate with the SNAP program and HIP, and they're able to partner with different agencies in their communities, agencies that work with seniors or other customers who are using SNAP, and our housing authorities or our senior centers, all sorts of different agencies, and help make those connections for your farm or your farmer's market with the broader community.
And Rebecca put up some numbers. I think it was 22 million or 24 million that's out there that's available to them as they join this program. So that's another way of looking at it. But David hit it on the nail. It's another way of connecting to your community. There's a lot of churches, elderly centers that are busing people to farmers markets and things of that nature, which then those people wouldn't normally come to your farm, but if you are at a farmers market, then those people are available to exchange or benefit your farm also. So.
Great.
And
Jennifer,
Rebecca
did you
just
wanna
took a
ask?
question in the chat about the senior coupons. I know it's wonderful that they've increased to $50 in value, but I wasn't sure if there was any ability to maybe issue them in two $25 units, so that if folks are walking on site, they could spend 25 now and 25 later. Is that something that you guys are going to be doing, or will it just be $150 because you can't give change? It's sort of like they got to really bulk up, and how does that work if they're buying from different vendors at a market? Do they have to kind of walk around with, I've spent $10 here and $5 there and another $10 here? Or I don't know if you could explain that, or maybe I missed it.
Great question. So the coupons themselves, the denomination is $5. So each senior will get 10 $5 coupons. So they would have to spend at least $5 with one particular vendor, but they could, from that point, decide however much they want to spend on each particular day. So they may choose to spend $10 on one day, and then kind of throughout the season use up their coupon booklet. There are some markets that double the coupons. It's not related to our funding source at all, but it's just, I think, great. And that also allows seniors to just extend that benefit beyond even the $50 that we provide through this program.
Great. Sorry if you said that and I missed it. That's perfect.
No worries.
I have another question, Kimberly. If there is not, I'm really interested in this HIP, so I do apologize. But with the rebate, is that rebate, David, instantly, or does it go back on the EBT card, or do you get another coupon for it? How does the rebate work?
It's instant back to the card. So it worked. So if a customer goes to a farm that participates in HIP and they buy $10 in fruits and vegetables, and they get that $10 immediately credited back to their EBT card right away, up to the monthly cap, depending on their household size.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, there's no tokens, or I mean, some markets still, who are processing SNAP for their vendors, may use tokens or receipts and things like that, and may have their own, as Becca mentioned, matches for like the WIC coupons. They may match SNAP purchases as well and do that usually through tokens, but this is all electronic.
Thank you.
Yep.
Could you all talk about what types of products your farmer, like, I know that sometimes when it comes to farmers markets or even exception of SNAP EBT, that a farmer can get a little confused, like what exactly, and I know it may depend upon the program here, particularly within the state of Massachusetts, where there may be a little bit more flexibility with SNAP EBT. And I know that I think one of you all had addressed like, I think Rebecca, it may have been you that addressing like what they can exactly purchase, but what do you, I mean, like just a quick rundown of what folks, or like, what do you tell farmers or like they can accept and not accept? Do you have kind of a quick spiel, what they can accept and not accept?
I don't have a quick spill what they can or cannot accept. I do know with farmers market, we definitely want them to know that the EBT is attached to that location. So if you have a farmers market that has multiple Saturday, Sunday, Monday, multiple dates at different places, those are all different FNS numbers. And so that's a spiel that it doesn't have anything to do with what you just said though, but it just made me think about like common questions and things that we're getting now. And that is one of the things.
So that's interesting, because that was one of my questions.
Yeah.
What happens if your market, what happens if your market's mobile, right?
Yeah. So mobile market, we don't authorize a mobile farmers market.
So you're
so so it's like I said, it's attached to that location. So if you have a farmers market that's at the Clark Park, it's attached to that Clark Park, that farmers market. And then you might have another one that might be across town or on a different date. And even though those same farmers might go to the second location that's on Tuesdays instead of Saturday, that's still a separate FNS number. So a mobile farmers market, we don't authorize, but we do have different different categories that a farmer, or I think Dave had on his, a delivery route, that's something that's mobile. So there's other ways to get into the program if you are mobile, but farmers, we don't classify a mobile farmers market. Hopefully that makes sense.
If you're just a single vendor moving your van from one neighborhood to another and there's no other farmers there, is that one FNS number for the vendor, even though they're selling their own farm product in multiple locations?
Okay, so I wanted to make sure you said that. So that's a farmer we're talking about that's selling their own individual items. That's one FNS number.
Okay. And then a farmer that maybe, New Entry has two FNS numbers because we're a farmer producer vendor and we're also an aggregator. So we also, I can't remember what she called that. Maybe it was a farmer's market vendor number. But when we aggregate through our food hub and sell multiple farmers products at the same time, we have a different FNS number. So if we take that FNS number and move that around, is that still the same number, or would that need to be a different vendor number?
Because we're talking specific and you already have an FNS number, I would like for us to see offline. Okay. Because that way I can specifically look at that FNS, how it's attached to that.
Okay, great.
Okay, cool.
We're not doing that yet, just
Yeah.
FYI, but we're thinking about it. We're actively planning a project to do that with partners. So we haven't violated any rules yet.
But to add more to Kimberly's question, with SNAP, you basically, as long as it is a SNAP eligible item, they can purchase it at any farmer's market or direct marketing farmer or farm stand if it's SNAP eligible. Now with WIC, of course, like Rebecca said, WIC is a little bit different. And as David mentioned with his programs, those things, but as far as someone who is a EBT recipient, then they are eligible to buy any SNAP item that's available at that farmer's market.
Right, thank you. And so for farmers market coupons, it's just fruits and vegetables, cut herbs, not potted herbs. They have to be cut, and honey for seniors only. And it all has to be local.
Yeah, and it's a little different for HIP, but it's mainly fruits and vegetables, fresh, frozen, or canned, without added fat, sugars, or oils. But I wanted to mention it also includes like starters, seedlings. If a plant that grows tomatoes, I know that's okay for SNAP, and that you can also get your HIP incentive with that as well. And I was going to mention, I know Mass Farmers Markets Association developed a chart that shows, I mean, Kimberly, you asked about sort of a simple document that explains all this. They've developed that, and I can see if I can get it sort of in a, with pictures and, each of these programs, what they can purchase.
So I have another question if no one else does. Can you all discuss a little bit access to equipment? And this is probably more at the federal level. Like how does, in terms of the equipment that one uses to process SNAP EBT or these other, whether also HIP as well. But it used to be that we, I don't know, what was it, 10 years ago, I feel like we had equipment that was provided free under a grant. Is that available anymore or no? Okay, so farmers are then having to fit the bill for that equipment. Could you talk a little bit about that as well?
Do you want me to take that, or so currently there are and I had mentioned it in my slides, in Massachusetts there's two options. There's one option nationally for subsidized equipment, and that's through Market Link, which is a program that's funded through USDA. And they'll so for like a new market or a new farmer, they can subsidize some of those costs for mobile processing equipment, paying for 1 year of the app and the swipe device, the card reader. And that's currently available. I don't know, if it will be available in the future, but right now that's available. Through the state, there's also these no-cost landline devices that are available through the state's EBT provider that are available at no cost. They process SNAP only. There's no cost. There's no fees. But you have to have electricity and an analog phone line to use those. There's been other programs at various times. The state, through again USDA funding to the Department of Transitional Assistance, had provided some funding for SNAP equipment. That grant ended this past September. We were able to provide a bit more in terms of equipment, including like sort of a full package to get growers going, including like the data and the subscription to the app and an iPad and the whole deal to help get people going for the first couple of years. That ended, but we're always looking for additional sources of funding. And So certainly, you know, before you make any decisions on processing equipment, feel free to check in with myself or DTA, and we can let you know what the latest options are. We also have that information on our website.
So do we have any farmers that wanted to work with Rebecca specifically? We had offered that initially we were going to do a hybrid with Rebecca in our office, but we pulled back on that because no one RSVP to the face-to-face component. But do we have any farmers here that are interested in walking through with Rebecca or just walking through the process again?
And I think Teresa also offered if folks want to help go through their FNS application online with her, we can toss people in a breakout room and you can get some one-on-one time. So James, it looks like you have your thumbs up. Did you want to have a one-on-one conversation with any presenter? Do you want to add that to the chat or unmute yourself and let us know?
Yes. All right.
Great. And who would you like to be in a breakout room with, James? Did you want to sign up with Rebecca or your FNS number?
Shall I just put Rebecca and Teresa in there, and then one of you can pop back out? Sure. Okay. Oh, he says, I'm a beginner, I'm not sure. And that's right? It's hard to figure these things out. So let me, great.
I just put our next training dates in the chat in case people would prefer to do, you know, a longer training. And they can just email me to sign up for that. I'll put my email in the chat again.
Great. All right, I'm gonna shift you in there, Rebecca and Teresa there.
Okay.
Great. And did Virginia or Justine, hi Justine, good to see you again. Or Serena have other questions too, or do you want to also have any one-on-one time with folks?
I'm taking notes for my colleague and boss who owns a small farm. So I'm gonna just pass these notes along to him with your guys' contact info. So you might be hearing from him. But thank you, this has been wonderful.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. And yeah, and if you have any other questions, I know all the speakers are very open to you reaching out, so feel free to follow up.
Great.
And thanks for joining us, Serena. And Justine, did you have any questions? Are you interested in signing up for this for your farm stand?
Maybe stepped away.
Well, we can stop the recording now at least, and then if folks have
I think
questions,
that's it.
can not be on video. So